Between 2011 to 2013, Silk Road, created by Ross Ulbricht, turned the dark web into a global underground economy powered by Bitcoin. Before being dismantled by the FBI, the raid comes at 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon, Glen Park Public Library in San Francisco. October 1, 2013. A man sits at a laptop near the science fiction section, headphones in, fingers dancing across the keyboard. His screen glows with lines of encrypted chat logs, transaction records, administrative commands. He's logged in as Dread Pirate Roberts, the mythical captain of the largest digital black market the world has ever seen. Outside, unmarked vehicles converge. FBI, D, Homeland Security. A dozen agents in tactical gear, earpieces buzzing with coordinated chatter. They've been hunting this ghost for 2 years. Tonight, they've finally found him. Inside, the man types faster. A user is asking about a shipment. Another complains about a vendor. He responds with calm authority, the voice of a king presiding over an empire built on ones and zeros, on Tor nodes and Bitcoin wallets, on the absolute faith that he is untouchable. Then movement, fast, aggressive. 2 agents, flanking from behind. A woman, pretending to be a couple, leans in as if to flirt. Distraction. The man looks up, confused, and in that half-second of hesitation, another agent lunges forward, slamming the laptop open, keeping it from sleeping, from lock-in, from erasing. FBI, don't move. Hands pinned, cuffs snapping shut. The man's face drains of color, his username still glowing on the screen. Dread Pirate Roberts, administrator, god of the Silk Road. Ross Ulbricht, 29 years old, is dragged from his chair. Around him, library patrons freeze, books in hand, eyes wide. One agent secures the laptop, another photographs the screen. Evidence irrefutable. The empire, still online, still breathing, now captured in federal custody. For 2 years, the Silk Road operated in the shadows of the internet, a digital black market where anything could be bought. Drugs, fake IDs, hacking tools, even rumors of murder. Over $1.2 billion in transactions. Tens of thousands of users. A revolution in anonymous commerce, powered by Bitcoin and encrypted by the dark web. And now, in a single coordinated strike, it's over. But how did it begin? How did a 27-year-old libertarian with a degree in physics build an online empire that the FBI called the most sophisticated and extensive criminal marketplace on the internet? How did he stay hidden for so long? And what drove him to risk everything for a vision of absolute freedom? Ross William Ulbricht was born on March 27, 1984, in Austin, Texas, into a life of comfortable suburban normalcy. His parents, Lynn and Kirk, were loving, educated, supportive. Ross was their golden child, bright-eyed, curious, gentle. He built model rockets in the backyard. He excelled in Boy Scouts, earning the rank of Eagle Scout. He played video games, read science fiction, dreamed of distant worlds and futures yet unwritten. He was not a criminal. Not then. At Westlake High School, he was well-liked, clean-cut, a good student with a quiet intensity. Friends remember him as thoughtful, philosophical, someone who asked the kind of questions most teenagers never bothered with. What is freedom? What is justice? Who decides what's right? He went to the University of Texas at Dallas, majored in physics. He was fascinated by the fundamental laws of the universe, by the idea that beneath the chaos of existence, there were rules, patterns, immutable truths. He earned his degree with honors. Then he pursued a master's in materials science and engineering at Penn State, researching crystallography, diving deeper into the structures that held matter together. But something was shifting inside him. Ross had always been idealistic, but now that idealism was curdling into disillusionment. He read Austrian economics Mos's Rothbard, Hayek. He devoured libertarian philosophy. He became convinced that government was not a protector of freedom, but its greatest enemy. Taxation was theft. Regulation was oppression. The war on drugs was a moral catastrophe, imprisoning millions for victimless crimes, feeding a bloated police state that crushed individual liberty. He believed in a radical vision, a world without coercion, without borders, without authority. A world where individuals were sovereign, where trade was free, where no one could tell you what you could or couldn't put in your own body. And he believed the internet could make that world real. By 2010, Ross had left academia. He moved back to Austin, tried his hand at day trading, launched a used bookstore online. Nothing stuck. He felt restless, searching, waiting for something larger. He spent hours on libertarian forums, debating, dreaming, imagining systems that could circumvent the state entirely. Then he discovered Bitcoin. It was still obscure then, a fringe digital currency invented by an anonymous programmer named Satoshi Nakamoto. Decentralized, unregulated, peer-to-peer, no banks, no governments, just cryptographic proof and distributed consensus. Ross saw it immediately. This was the key. This was how you could trade without permission, without surveillance, without control. And then he discovered Tor, the dark web, a hidden internet, encrypted, anonymous, invisible to traditional law enforcement, a place where no one could track you, where servers had no physical location, where identities dissolved into pseudonyms and IP addresses vanished into relays scattered across the globe. Bitcoin plus Tor, anonymous money on an anonymous network. Ross Ulbricht saw the future, and in early 2011, alone in his apartment, he began to build it. He called it Silk Road. The Birth of an Empire, January 2011. Ross Ulbricht sits in front of his laptop, coding through the night. Empty coffee cups clutter his desk. His apartment in Austin is dim, lit only by the glow of the screen. Outside, the world sleeps. Inside, a revolution is being born. He works methodically, deliberately. The site needs to be simple, but secure, user-friendly, but untraceable. He builds it on the Tor network, accessible only through specialized browsers that route traffic through multiple encrypted nodes, making surveillance nearly impossible. He integrates Bitcoin as the sole currency, no credit cards, no PayPal, no paper trail leading back to real identities. The design is elegant. Vendors list their products. Buyers browse, purchase, leave reviews like it's Amazon, except the products aren't books or electronics. They're MDMA, LSD, cocaine, cannabis, prescription pills. The site takes a commission on every sale, usually 10%. An escrow system holds funds until buyers confirm delivery, protecting both parties from scams. Ross isn't naive. He knows what he's doing is illegal. But in his mind, he's not a criminal, he's a liberator. He's providing a service the world desperately needs. A marketplace free from violence. Free from the cartels and street dealers who fuel the drug war's endless bloodshed. On Silk Road, there are no guns, no turf wars, no drive-by shootings. Just peaceful, voluntary exchange between consenting adults. He names himself Dread Pirate Roberts, after the character from The Princess Bride, title passed down, a legend bigger than any one person. It's theatrical, mythical, perfectly suited for the role he's about to play. February 2011. Silk Road goes live. At first, it's quiet. A handful of vendors, a few dozen users. Ross seeds the market himself, listing magic mushrooms he grew in his apartment. His first sale, 10 grams to a buyer in Australia. He packages them carefully, mails them out, and waits. 3 days later, the buyer leaves a 5-star review. It works. Word spreads slowly at first, whispers on Reddit, posts on libertarian forums. Encrypted messages passed between early Bitcoin adopters, then faster, exponentially. By summer, there are hundreds of vendors, thousands of users, daily transactions climbing into the tens of thousands of dollars. Ross watches the numbers grow with a mix of pride and terror. This is bigger than he imagined, bigger than he can control alone. He recruits administrators, moderators, tech support, anonymous, all communicating through encrypted channels, all paid in Bitcoin. He builds a staff he's never met, managing an empire he can barely comprehend. He spends 18 hours a day online, answering questions, resolving disputes, improving security, expanding features. Silk Road becomes a community. Users don't just buy drugs, they discuss philosophy, debate politics, share harm reduction advice. There's a forum, a book club, even poetry. Dread Pirate Roberts posts regularly, preaching his libertarian gospel. This is about freedom. This is about taking power back from the state. This is about proving that people can govern themselves. The media catches on. June 2011. Gawker publishes an article. The underground website where you can buy any drug imaginable. Traffic explodes. Tens of thousands of new users flood the site. Sales skyrocket. Senators panic. Chuck Schumer holds a press conference, demanding the D shut down this audacious website. He calls it a drug dealer's dream, a parent's nightmare. Ross reads the headlines from his apartment. He's terrified, exhilarated, untouchable, because they don't know who he is. They don't know where he is. And as long as he stays disciplined, as long as he never slips, they never will. For months, it works. Silk Road grows. Bitcoin surges in value, making Ross and his users millionaires on paper. He moves to San Francisco, rents a small apartment, lives modestly despite the fortune piling up in his digital wallets. He tells friends he's working on a Bitcoin startup. He goes hiking, practices yoga, meditates on the beach. By 2012, Silk Road is processing over $2 million in sales per month. Ross is pulling in 6 figures in commissions. He's 28 years old. He's running the largest criminal enterprise on the internet, and no one knows his name. The hunter and the hunted, but someone is watching. Cybercrime Division, FBI Headquarters, Baltimore Field Office. Special Agent Chris Tarbell stares at his monitor, scrolling through Silk Road's homepage. It's late 2011. The Gawker article has landed on his desk. His superiors want answers. Who's running this? Where are they? How do we shut it down? Tarbell is methodical, patient, brilliant. He's taken down botnets, hacker collectives, identity theft rings, but this is different. Silk Road isn't just hidden, it's architecturally designed to be invisible. Every connection is encrypted. Every server is masked. The administrator, this Dread Pirate Roberts, communicates only through PGP encrypted messages. There are no names, no addresses, no vulnerabilities. It's the perfect crime. Almost Tarbell begins building a task force. FBI, DIRS, Homeland Security. They call it Operation Marco Polo, a hunt across the digital Silk Road, chasing a ghost through the dark web. They start with the obvious, following the money. Bitcoin is pseudonymous, not anonymous. Every transaction is recorded on a public ledger called the blockchain. If they can trace the flow of coins from Silk Road to a real-world bank account, they can find their man. But Ross is careful. He tumbles his Bitcoin, routing it through mixers and exchanges, fracturing the trail into 1,000 dead ends. The agents hit wall after wall. They try undercover operations. Agents register as vendors, as buyers, trying to coax Dread Pirate Roberts into revealing personal information. He never does. He's disciplined, paranoid, always 3 steps ahead. Months pass. The task force grows frustrated. Silk Road isn't shrinking, it's thriving. By mid-2012, the site has over 10,000 listings, nearly 1 million users, and daily transactions exceeding $2 million. Dread Pirate Roberts is a legend now, a digital Robin Hood, a hero to libertarians and anarchists worldwide. But legends make mistakes. Early 2013, an IRS agent named Gary Alford is digging through old forum posts, searching for anything: usernames, email addresses, slips of the tongue. He finds a post from January 2011 on a Bitcoin forum. A user named Altoid is asking for advice on a coding problem. The question is oddly specific, technical, exactly the kind of thing someone building a dark web marketplace might ask. Alfred keeps digging. He finds another post from Altoid, this time promoting a new website, Silk Road. The post is later edited, the mention deleted, but the internet never forgets. Cached versions still exist. Then, the break: Altoid posts again, months later, this time looking to hire an IT expert. He asks interested parties to contact him at an email address, Husu Brishti, a real name, a real email address. The task force erupts. They poll everything: DMV records, social media, university transcripts, travel history. They build a profile. Ross William Ulbricht, 29, Austin, Texas, physics degree, libertarian, loner, recently moved to San Francisco. They surveil his apartment, his gym, his coffee shops. They watch him on his laptop in cafes, always logged into something, always typing, but they can't see his screen. They can't prove he's Dread Pirate Roberts. Not yet. Meanwhile, Ross is unraveling. The empire is too big, too chaotic. Vendors are scamming buyers. Hackers are attacking the servers. Competitors are popping up: Atlantis, Black Market Reloaded, threatening Silk Road's dominance. Ross is overwhelmed, exhausted, drowning in the very freedom he tried to create. And then, the darkness deepens. In early 2013, Ross believes one of his employees, a man using the alias Chronic Pain, is stealing from him, threatening to expose the site. In encrypted chats, Ross contacts a user he believes is a hit. He negotiates a price, $80,000 in Bitcoin. The target, his former employee. The hitman sends proof: a photo of a man, bound, supposedly dead. Ross pays. It's fake. The hitman is an undercover agent. The murder is staged. But Ross doesn't know that. He believes he's ordered a killing. In his journal, later seized by the FBI, he writes, "I ordered the hit. I felt guilty, but I knew it was necessary." The ideology has twisted. The dream of a peaceful, voluntary society has curdled into paranoia and violence. Dread Pirate Roberts, the liberator, has become a tyrant. By summer 2013, the FBI is closing in. They've linked Ross's IP address to Silk Road servers. They've intercepted his communications. They have his journals, his Bitcoin wallets, his confessions. They just need to catch him logged in. The fall, September 2013, the net tightens. Ross moves through San Francisco like a man underwater, slow, dreamlike, disconnected from the weight of what's coming. He rents a small room in a shared house, lives on takeout and energy drinks, spends 14-hour days managing Silk Road from coffee shops and libraries. He tells his roommates he's working on a Bitcoin startup. They believe him. Why wouldn't they? He's polite, quiet, keeps to himself. Just another tech guy in a city full of them. But inside, he's fracturing. The site has grown beyond his control. Over 1 million users now, nearly 13,000 listings, $1.2 billion in total transactions since launch. The commissions have made him